Welcome back. So today we are talking about the 2024 Wichita Housing Forecast. I just went yesterday to Wichita State University, where Dr. Stan Longhofer, the director of WSU Center for Real Estate, talked, as well as we had Zoom in the National Association of Realtors, kind of give us their perspective. I can do that in a different video. And then an economist that also talked about jobs and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to go through, this is Stan Longhofer's discussion on what we are what they are predicting based on past history and what they've been seeing in the market as far as what's going to happen over the next year through 2024 and the end of 2023. So here, just mortgage rates. We're probably pretty familiar with that. I mean, like, they were on this great downward trajectory since 1980-ish, beginning of 1980s, and great. And then, of course, got that super low after COVID. And here we are jumping back up to, I think we're in the sevens as of right now. So that's why the buyers are sitting out a little bit unless they have to buy, whether it's new baby, divorce, marriage, stuff like that. Or, of course, the 2 and 3% interest rate folks are sitting tight as well, unless they, of course, have to move, is what we tend to see. I mean, they're going to still get to a point where it's like, okay, we're ready for something new or different to an extent. So, but yeah, we're in the 7. So mortgage risk premium is very high. Let's see, we got the 30-year mortgage rate. So this is the blue line. And then the red line is kind of what the government interest rate gets. So they get a little bit better interest rate. And then here's what they call the spread. But yeah, as you can see, that it's just going up in the direction we don't want to. And the spread, they were saying, is the difference between the 30-year and the 10-year treasury rate. So, but again, they kind of follow each other, as they were saying, except the green one doing a little wonky the last little bit. So here's the forecast. This is what they're talking about the next year. So we've got the 30-year fixed on the blue. The 15 is on the red. The bankers MBA, the bankers forecast is the purple. So let's see. So this is kind of where we're at right now. Where the green and the purple, or I guess probably technically the green. And then National Association of Realtors forecast is the green. So so they're predicting, let's see, is that a 6 going to 6 by end of 2004? And that's basically what the director was estimating yesterday as well. He's like, no, National Association of Realtors, they are forecasting it to go a little bit low, but he's being conservative. So basically, we ended yesterday's meeting after it was a 2-hour presentation. I said the 3 different presenters. This was the guy that presented third. And so I kind of walked away thinking that, we're looking at 6 is what they're predicting for the end of next year based on all the variables. This just kind of gives an idea of the home sales activity. As we can see, it's going down, and I think I do the monthly market updates. If you watch those videos of mine, and the last, as you can see, many months, I've been like, and it fell, and we're always looking at year over year. So we're looking at 2003 typically to 2022. I do show that one graph on my market updates as far as Wichita, and like each month, the graphs that show each month in the year from like the last 2 years, 2021, and 21, 22, 23, and then each month. That's kind of like my favorite, but this shows on more of an overview, a broad view. But yeah, this is exactly what's happening. It's unfortunately going down. We're still having that supply demand issue where the builders, again, this is some of the discussions that we're having, and we'll probably have a slide here coming up, where the builders stopped building for the last decade after the 2008 crash, and they got, probably in some scary situations. So they're like, okay, let's kind of be a little more conservative. And then, of course, with the last 10 years now, we need houses. And it doesn't help that the interest rate is so low for a lot of people. So that's even on top of the fact that builders for the last decade haven't built, that the interest rate was so low a couple years back that people are like, they don't want to increase their house payment. I saw the National Association of Realtors sent out this one chart recently, and it said for a 400,000, I'm just regurgitating what the lady in this meeting said yesterday, for a $400,000 house in January of 2021, that came out as like $1,200. Obviously there's other variables, but basically $1,200 for a mortgage payment. to where at this stage, like a week or two ago when this data came out, they're paying $2,200, so $1,000 more. I mean, $1,200 for a monthly payment for a $400,000 house compared to now $2,200. I mean, just amazing. That figure really stuck in my mind. So I'm really hoping for 2%, 3% interest rates again, and I'll be acting on that at that point. But anyways, retrospect, of course, is you just learn. But yeah, we are going down and have been month after month after month. So here's the home sales forecast for next year. So we are, since we're only 2023, since we still have a couple months left, like sales 21 after COVID, even COVID, had pretty good numbers. And then the year after, jumped up, and then we kind of came down in 2022, just more of a supply demand thing. And that also, this was the 2021 was the year of the low interest rate. So maybe people that weren't even looking were like, hey, these interest rates are great. Let's check it out. And so then came down and down in 2023. Like I said, I think the whole year almost. I'm going off memory of my market updates. Again, go check out my market updates. I just did the one for September for Wichita, so you'll see the graphs in there. But yeah, down 10%. So that's what they're thinking by the end of the year. And then the following year, I kind of consider that almost flat, 9,400, 9,300. So should stay about the same is what they are predicting. Active listings are rising, but still incredibly low. What's interesting to me about the active listings is anything in the 200K range. It's just, you're in for the haul. I mean, you're going to be putting multiple offers in for your buyers. You're hoping for cash buyers. And if this is any indication, if you are at a point where you could eventually be a cash buyer, there's something you can do to finagle some money and become a cash buyer and then get a mortgage after. Think of that for next year. If you're really ready to jump in and start buying right now, it's just going to put you a little bit ahead. Yeah, there could be some more costs maybe as far as getting a loan at some point, but if you can work with family and something like that, and cash. And I think that slide might be in here, but from a national perspective, we're at 26%. So let's call it a quarter of all homes. Again, that's a national number. We don't have a Wichita number, are buying cash. So, and then it just helps your ability because you can close quicker right now. There's no appraisal. And I'm in the market, and like I said, I got rejected a couple times, and I knew how to to structure the offer. And but I'm like everybody else, you want that type of house. And it's funny because the third one, which is the one I'm getting, it was really the one I wanted. And it's funny, I do tell that to my buyers a lot. It's like, when it's right, it's going to work out, because the first two were more like iffies, but at least I got out there and I did it. But they weren't like perfect, where this one is really, for where I'm at, it's really good for what I want. So I'm quite excited because I'm about to move in a couple weeks. But yeah, active listings are in the blue. So you can see those going up in 2023, where they were so low in 21 and 22, which made that multiple offer scenarios really tough. But they are going up and up. The interesting thing, though, I'm noticing is that there still feels like there's such low inventory. And this is just a gut feel. No one's really said this, but I feel like the inventory is almost like the higher dollar area. Like that's where the numbers are increasing, which of course the majority of or a lot of them, fewer of the population can afford those ones. But that's kind of my gut that I'm kind of seeing and feeling, because I think it was like last time I did the numbers, I was saying it was 1,000 and then it was up to 1,500 from a year to year. So that is pretty good, because we're at like a 1.9 month supply right now. Again, going off just numbers that I don't have here. They're in my last market update video. So that does say, we're about 2 months inventory. So it is definitely higher, especially when you look at these little valleys right here. But we still need more. Inventories are still well below what is needed for a balanced market. Yes, well below. And the red is the U.S. and Wichita is blue. Yeah, like I said, it's and as soon as March kicks back in, even despite wherever the interest rates are, let's say if they're in the 6s or 7s, like, or in between that, people will still come back out in spring and get ready. So to be honest, even for myself, and I'm speaking from personal experience, because I wanted to get a house bought by before the end of the year, because I did not want to wait till March of next year, when, granted, will there be more houses? Potentially, still low listings, but the buyers will all be out. So what's happening now is, even though the interest, and this is what a lot of social media is saying right now, even though the interest rates are, let's say 7, let's say they're 6 at March of next year, you're going to be paying 10, 20, whatever over asking, just in order to get the house, or, ask for it as is. And then you're going to put more money into it after you buy it. And, not ask for inspections and stuff like that, in order just to win the house I'm talking about. So, yeah, to me, it still seems, if you really are in the market, and I'm talking for myself, like, I was really hoping to get something by the end of this year, not have to deal with, or January even, but not have to deal with the surge again in next year, March of next year, spring market, because I just believe it's going to be over asking, at least in the 200, 300 price point. Great if you're over the 400, you got a little bit of better and 500s, and of course, beyond. Don't get me wrong, there's still multiple offers in all of them, because everyone wants those best houses with the best lots, or even the grandma houses with like the great location or something like that. Homes are still selling very quickly. Like I've said, days on market is blue, which again, at least it has been going up. Moving average. Okay, so we're right at the moving average, but it has been going up. I think 6 days on market is what our median was last time I presented that. So yeah, again, that's just a low inventory thing. Most homes are selling at or above original list price. Again, if they're priced properly. I was really looking at this one house, really excited to see it, going, oh my gosh, I love this one. And I went to see it, and the seller, not my listing, I was looking at it for myself. The sellers were in there painting. They had moved to a new build, and I'm like, and it was a coming soon thing. So I'm like, why didn't you guys just take a week, and not put it on the market for another week, so they could have gotten it in best order? Well, and this is a great example of it's still on the market. They just kind of threw it out like kind of filthy. Now I will say it does have a really small backyard, so that could be something. But like, I guess he said, like, the dad painted the floor, the garage floor, and it's just all the paint flew up on, it's just kind of like went up like an inch all around. I mean, just, you could see, like, when you look at and then the paint on the kitchen, it looks like it was just primed, like they kind of missed, like they just didn't do it. And then the kitchen counters. So, and they priced it like kind of a little bit on the high side above what you would have seen for that. And it was a ranch, so I thought it should have gone really fast. But that goes to show that, man, they could have taken a week off, put some money into the house, have it painted professionally, or do a really good job themselves painting it. Don't get me wrong, that's a lot of work to do when you're moving to a new house. Like, hire it out if you can afford to. But that house should have been selling. So again, this is just saying where I'm saying they're at or above original list price. That's the example I'm just trying to give. I do have people thinking, oh, everything's selling this low inventory, so they price it higher, and it doesn't work out. Then you're on the clearance rack. So on to the next slide. Home price is appreciating, is slowing, but it remains strong. Yeah, and Wichita market we're talking about, because again, the big cities, their pricing was going down. My friend in Texas, I mean, she's saying, oh, it's so slow out here, and she's dealing in, like, maybe not quite the lower end, but the higher end, and it's just slow. Things are sitting on the market. I've got a buyer here currently with their houses sitting on the market in Texas as well. So, but here in Wichita, things have been and continued to appreciate, but it is going a little bit slower. And here we got Wichita in the blue and US in the red. So as you can see, like, Wichita, it's still going down. It's just not as far down as the US. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing, plus with the monthly updates that I do and that we get. Wichita home price appreciation. So here's the forecast for if it's going to keep appreciating. Obviously, 2021, things skyrocketed up. Everyone made tons of equity if you bought a house a couple years back, if you bought a house in 2020. And I know this isn't Wichita, but my friend, she did buy a house in 2020 in Texas. And I mean, I think it's made $200K off of it, just from this appreciation number you're seeing here, 14, and then still kept going up 10%, not as much as that. And then we're still going up 4% ish. And then next year, 2024, they're still expecting it to keep increasing here 3.4%. So it's still going to be several years out, and only if like the inventory is just so, if the builders can bring a lot more inventory. I know they're building a lot of twin homes, duplexes. I mean, apartments are going up. So we'll see. Single family home construction, speaking of construction, never recovered after the financial crisis. So this is kind of what I was talking about a little earlier. It just died. And for a decade, the builders just were kind of, shy, because they've still got to put out money to build the homes until they get recouped. And so then here you see up here, like it was going up, up, up again. And then it's going down. And like I said, we're seeing, and even last year, I remember the number because I went to the WSU housing forecast then. They had said there was like 1,500 and something permits. And then when the numbers came out, which I'm not sure if this is on this slide or if it's in the booklet, it wasn't that high. It was in the 13 or 1,200, I think the 1,200 range. So it was already 300 less than what they were saying last year. And so this isn't a good sign that it's going down, but supposedly we have more listings on the market. I thought a good deal that would be construction. 2-family homes are helping to fill the gap. So these are permits for construction. So red, we'll just kind of take that for what it is. Wichita single family construction forecast. So yeah, here's the number, like so it was in 2022, it was 1,352. And I know for a fact, because I was there during this housing forecast last year, they said this number would be in the 1,500. So look at that, only 1,255. So it should have been, according to what they were telling us, 250 more permits, which is kind of a big deal when you're looking at these numbers. It'd be 250 more homes, which we could definitely use. So next year, yeah, looking like it's building permits are down. And then, but looks like 2024 should go up, and that's hoping that interest rates get better. I'm thinking is what they're forecasting. And then here is the sheet that says everything. So it has the many years, that the last 2 years that we have the full figures on, and then 2023, of course, we're almost done with this. We've got 2 more months to go, 2.5. And then 2024. So yeah, like the graphs earlier showed, 12,000 down to 10,000, 9,000, and even lower next year. And then 1,455 building permits down to 1,322, and it's only they're expecting it to end at 1,255, and then up a little bit next year. Good, that's good to hear. And then and who knows? This could have been because the interest rates started going up to the 7s, and the builders watch the buyers holding off, and we feel it definitely as agents. So, and home appreciation, as we were looking at, whopping increase big time. 21, 22 still increased a good whopping amount, and then it kept a little bit less, but kept increasing. Or for next year, or by the end of this year, and then next year still appreciating, but at a little bit slower pace. And I think that might be the last one. So yeah, so there you go. That's kind of what, like I said, I have the booklet. There's a little bit different stuff. If you want me, I think we should be getting those. If you want me to either get this to you, or you'd like me to email this, if you're on my email list, of course, you've already seen this link here. But anyways, hopefully that gives you a lot more information about what we're seeing coming through the end of this year in 2024. If you have any other questions, or if you're looking to buy or sell, especially list, we need homes, give me a holler. I'll help you out some more. Have a great day.